Hello guys, this is Jerry speaking. Welcome to Book Reviews, episode 6, LukeJ62895's edition. And today, we're going to read you chapter 5 of the book called Street Gang, The Complete History of Sesame Street by Michael Davis. Now, I haven't read this in months now, because most recently, it was a tragic event from what happened the past month or so. And Carol Spinney passed away at the age of 85 last month. And for those who don't know, I wanted to read this book to dedicate him, as well as this loss of what happened last Thursday. Jim Lehrer, who also passed away at the age of 85. And in the sleep, I was like in shock from 1934 to 2020. So, completely in deep shock when this happened. So, right now, I'm decided to read this book. So, chapter 5. So, there you go on that. But anyways, let's get on the book right now. So we got, shall we? Let's just go ahead and do this now. Anyway. Put that removing thing over here. So we got. Okay. Chapter 5. Okay. I had to put it somewhere safe. But anyway. Leland, Mississippi had bumper crop, we pronounce it, of cotton in 1936. The year Paul and Bay Henson welcomed the second son, James Maury Henson. Okay. Born in a hospital in nearby Greenville, Mississippi. Okay. Paul Henson was biologist from the U.S. Department of, what do you pronounce it? Agriculture, yeah, sorry, I did the mouse's word, but anyway. Which operated a research station in Leland. Bay was a stay-at-home mother to a new baby and his older brother, Paul Jr. The second-born son was by nature shy and quietly inquisitive, we pronounce it. A clever child who enjoyed the enduring attention of his maternal grandmother, known as Dear, while his mother, known on Paul Jr., we pronounce it. A family photograph taken with Jim Henson was perhaps 10 shows him kneeling in front of a garden hose. Okay. He was wrapped in what appears to be the light blanket bed sheets with a men's makeup chef, we pronounce it, turning atop of his head. While chewing the wooden fruit, the boy is casting a electronic spell on the hose. Contextually pop off the glass to appear as a crop rock. Okay, that's cool enough. The young Jimmy Henson was already trying his hand on as intonation and side gags. Yeah, pretty neat, I guess. On swirling summer days in Leland, Jimmy and a group of boys would meet at a Broad Street bridge over Deer Creek. Okay, dangling their bare feet off their side, playing along with the creek behind a bend just about beyond Leland Elementary School. In a slightly downriver, said straight out of Mark Twain. Okay? Tom Sawyer author, by the way. I was a Mississippi Tom Sawyer, had once said. I rarely wore shoes. It was an entire time, okay? We pronounce this word, but anyway. We had a beautiful big barn, and we had a Greek running in front of the hose for fishing. I have a BB gun, and I shoot at the word metal guns, we pronounce it, in the swamps just to wake them up, okay? Every year, magic, and the evening chorus, peeps, and crooks, along with the creek, would announce the arrival of spring, okay? At night, the boys should venture out with flashlights, okay, to spare bullfrogs. It's cool. Which with bronze poles, okay. A ritual called frog giggling, the way you pronounce it. After a successful athletic hunt, someone would skin their slimy legs, dip an egg yolk, dredge them through flour and breadcrumbs, and deep fry them. Yeah, sad, no. Lelanders are rivalrously, tablically would pronounce this word, certain that this experiences explain why Henson's alter ego took the form of the frog. Like Brago, like himself, they say the potato rose from the prominent group along with the creep bank, okay? The wise claim that Henson is boyhood friend, excuse me, I misspoke, but anyway. Kermit Scott, one of the Bridge kids, provided inspiration for the name. It's a Romanatious tale, certainly a morphe of Twain, okay? But no, it's only as true as the citizens of Leyland claim it to be for a day, certain to prove the Henson archives, okay? Without details, no clear determinations of their connections, where he announced that Jim Henson's the only man who knew. If anyone ever asked him, his best answer might have been, okay. When Jimmy's in the 5th grade, he left the swamps of Mississippi for the terror farms in Surrey and Hyattsville, Maryland, after his father accepted a government job in Washington. It was there around 1950 that the 13-year-old Jimmy made an international debut as a visual artist when the cartoon panel he illustrated and wrote appeared on the page in a Christian Science Minister, the Boston-based daily newspaper. Okay. The privately, when you pronounce this word, driven gag features two chefs. One quiet standing before the pot with a Brittany spoon. And the overmouthed chef and the forgiven the slightly pronounced his belly asked, "Shall we toss it and call it a salad, or cook it and call it a stew?" It was also in this year that I badgered my parents into buying a television set. Hence the recall, I absolutely love television. I love the idea that what you saw was taking place somewhere else in the same time. Among the programs Henson enjoyed most of this was Cuckoo Friday Ollie and an unscripted puppet show that originated in Chicago. Wow, I did not know that. Okay. And aired weeknights on NBC. Okay. That topical and rat tar enough, excuse me, I misspoke, but anyway, for adults, while a month enough for kids, the Skinwish would be nice, excuse me. It has one of the television first dinner hour discussions for the entire family, where the show offers was both old and new, like a Flair Day Americanized Punch and Judy. Okay. It played one out of a classic mock session stage, and it features an recurring mesmeral recognize this word, excuse me, of familiar types. Okay. A Perpex Warlock Coco, Boothbury Bohar Ollie, a Holly Grandam Mim Octopus. Way to pronounce it, but anyway. A Tucky Pride Conference, Carnival Cracky. Together they concentrated the Cuckoo Pogan players. A trop oh come on, really? A trop entirely magnetized and oh man, I misspoke. But anyway, and voiced by Burr Tillstorm. Working on scene behind this scram. Excuse me. Fran Allison, with some Willie singer actress was front of the and center on the program training lines with the puppets. Extreme importance and quick was comic full forgetting his mistress to Coco and the mistress Ollie once described by Time magazine as a one-toothed dragon whose presence and portraying might have been conceived by most Mahari, pronounce this word. He presented with Coco Fran and television lead 17-year-old Jim Henson. To the pages of the Washington Post of the morning of the May 13, 1954. Someone that I've alerted him about call for Towns in the Day paper, and I am in Lawrence radio and television notes columnist, WTOP TV personality Roy Martron. A Post report has started a turn the page. 74, what's it? We're in 75. We're going to be on 76. Okay, that's fine. Yes, we're on. Okay. A search with youngsters 12 and 14 to 14-year-olds of age who commemoratize married dads. Matt Trump has been playing plans, he said, and he wants to hear from any puppeteers he may have overlooked. Henson, who is the assistant of his school friend Russell Wall, never heard of him, had built a couple of cowboy puppets. Really? It didn't seem like it to me, but whatever. Longhorn Storehorn and another one called Perchy the French Rat hustled over the WTOP. Both were hired, and they decided feeling like listening to Saturday TV highlights had box up in the June 19th Post. WTOP Junior Morning Show, Washington youngsters do the version of CBS TV network, The Morning Show. Alice the Joy was short-lived. I know that Friday, June 25th, evening, starred on the air columnist Harry MacArthur reported that Eminence's demise of Junior Morning Show launched that last Saturday. It was go back into dry dock after tomorrow's telecast. Recent discovery that the recent revision of a child labor law permitting children to appear on the stage here applies to theater and not television. That doesn't make any sense to me. 3 of the program's presented were under 14 and commentary cannot get work permit. It will resume, says WTOP TV programs manager Tom Tossing. When suitable replacements of proper age, size, and weight can be found. Come on, man. It makes no sense to me, but whatever. Cancellation provided to only a minor setback. It less than a year time. By the end of the second semester at the University of Maryland, Jim Henson would be not only have his own daily television show in Washington D.C. He would also met his future wife and business partner, establish his own puppet burley company like Tellson's Cocoa Potions were, and dream up at his own Charlie McCarthy, a slightly sinister character who would may say that thinks Jim Henson or Edgar Bergen never would. Cover the section of a discarded raincoat. Kermit became the unbuttoned Henson. A comment that became his alter ego. One early evening in the spring of 1955, University of Maryland J. Nebel was lingering over there with a friend when she caught a grimace of a time. Oh dear, she said, we're on the air. Jane was late, excuse me, I misspoke, but anyway. And not the kind of late, like being delayed for a few, extra minutes in traffic. It was late for your own wake late. Time had gotten away for Jane. It was often did. She smiled weakly and tired and reserved herself. Excuse me. Jim won't be upset and angry. He never is. Neville was a senior in the College Park, Maryland campus during the 1954-1955 academic year when she met the man she would one day marry, Jim Henson, a shy, lanky freshman, penetrated by a constant energy. The previous spring, Henson had graduated from Hinesville New Western High School, completed in 1952, and located 2 miles south of the university campus. Neville from New York, on the other hand, has enrolled at Maryland in 1951. Wow. Henson was who was inspired to be a stage designer for theater and television. Had declared a major in comedy, of all things. A puppetry teacher told him he would not have to take all of the math and science required for a fine art degree. Okay, that's fine enough. He will be able to take more. Sorry, I had this just rubbing nose, but anyway. Let's continue on. Where was I? We have until 10 more pages left and we'll wrap up the show. So anyway, let's continue on. A puppetry teacher who told him that he would not have to take all the math and science required for a fine arts degree, and he was able to take more art courses that he switched over. Henson once explained the courses in advertising art, costume design, industrial design, all that stuff were part of home ATEC, what you pronounce it. Beyond the described classes, there were more primary motivation to switch majors. I think there were 6 guys and 500 girls. Wow! I did not know that. But anyway. In the department, it was marvelous. Wow. Neville was chosen to be more comedy rigorous requirements for a fine arts degree. Her father, Aberhart Neville, was a prominent extremist who wrote under the pen name Dolly. Wow. Dolly, I'm surprised. In 1947, he became associate editor of Astronomy Guide. A year later, he was an editor of Your Personal Astronomy, we pronounce it. Another prominent horoscope magazine. He's like Jim Laird to me, so there you go. So if you're watching this and having Jane and Jim, you know what I mean. After taking a puppetry class together, Henson asked Neville if she would consider working with him as his after school job. Wow. Well, other Maryland undergrads told as my noveling work study assignments, scrubbing pots in the dealing hall and looking at envelopes in the Bolster's office. Henson was earning his pocket money as a freelance puppeteer at WRC, Washington D.C.'s NBC affiliate. The exposure gained from the appearance in the previous summer on WTOP's Jury Morning Show has proved benefits. The show only lasted a few weeks, but were mentioned very late in a couple of newspaper articles. So I took the puppets over to NBC, and they will start putting me on these little local shows. Wow. Hensler said it was interesting and kind of fun to do, but I really wasn't interested in puppetry then. But when I was a kid, I never saw a puppet show. Really, Jim? You never saw a puppet show? Okay. I never played with puppets or had any interest in them. It was just a mean to the end. I did just to get on television. Hansel was paid as little as $5 per appearance just for a week, for his week on Channel 4's daytime shows, including Circle 4 Ranch with Cowboy Joe Campbell and Angel's Angle, a 50-minute food and fashion program featuring Norwegian-born model and newspaper columnist Inga Rodvold, way you pronounce it. In 1955, Inga was the lead for Afternoon, a rivalry show with music with the Mel Clemens Quartet and singers Jack Mango and Tippy Strader. Henson and Neville worked together on the first time during appearances on Afternoon. Wow. That was cool enough. I'm on page 78 now. Okay. The program master of the ceremonies was a minstrel studio announcer, Mac McGarry. Wow. Well, at the time, marveled the local press about the professional would pronounce it abilities of the show 19-year-old puppeteer. He come up with the material that just been sent down and think about it for a few minutes. McGarry said back then, afternoon producers, director Charles Deegan was downright affluent. The kid possibility of genius. Absolutely amazing. Okay. McGarry's reconnections of working with Henson during the Eisenhower's administration are valid and indubitable. Afternoon started in the spring of 1955 and lasted about 6 months, he said. Jim created these little dramas around popular records, with the Muppets lip singing the songs. The one I remember, excuse me. Especially was Bit. Yeah, I misspoke because I was skipped a little in the wrong. But anyway, the one I remember was Hey There by Comedy Cooney. Was the number one hit for 1954. In the bit, Jim was already dominate kind of character in the foreground. Then slowly, as you look to the right, you saw the horrible skull-like creature called York. Poor York was the size and shape of a good-sized coconut. He had skeleton hollow for cheeks and a lean brow and an expression that could single mentions or morbidly. He had painted and pomish blue, the color of a fresh bruise. Okay? The intelligence was unaware of York's presence, McGarry said. but he gradually moved toward her, finally grabbing her up. We have never seen anything like that before. 53 years after the fact, McGarry was still laughing about the villain who ate the ingredients. Okay? One puppet discovering another or blowing up the character into smithereens. Will become Henson's comedy calling card. Wow. A signature voice that was darling and just a shade dark. Wow. We are college students among ourselves. Jane once said. It had quality and of showing and nonsense. Jim was afternoon's blockbuster element. McGarry said it wasn't long before someone in the station gave an idea to give him his own show. In the likelihood, the person that was WCRC program director James Kovic, career of afternoons, blend of entertainment, talks, and service. I mean, like that Oprah's complimentaries audience would find familiar and confirming when you pronounce it. What does Oprah have to do with anything? Seriously. Oprah Winfrey. But anyway. Kovic spotted Henson one Saturday in the set of Junior Morning show. According to WTOP's Roy Metcalf, the story given Officer Kovic was there to discuss Metcalf's possible defection to the rival WRC. Kovic eventually passed on him, who was thoroughly impressed with Henson. Add to this afternoon lineup. McGarry was the show's ritual host. Believed it was Kovic who made room on the WRC evening schedule for Sam and Friends. Either way, it was a incredible break, Jen Henson said. She credited Storm for Kodami paving the way for Sam and Friends by probably before 1950. There was a charm colony convinced that set an executive program with puppets could appeal to both children and adults, like Cuckoo Friend Ollie, for example. Really opened the possibility of our career because his shows was accepted by the wide audience and family audience, she said. McGarry convinced Washington was in the news town, and entertainment took a back seat here, he said. But Jim Henson was a pop phenomenon in Washington, D.C., which I have to misspoke, but anyway. With everyone, from kids to great-grandmothers. Sam and Friends debuted on May 9th, 1955. A live twice-nightly comedy spot started for the final 5 minutes of WRC's local evening newscast from 6:25 p.m. and 11:25 p.m. A super time is provided by a Gilly lead to NBC's and to NBC's two-headed roundup of national and international news. The Hungry Brinkley Report. At bedtime, it was warm-up reviewers for the Tonight Show with Steve Allen. Wow. It's, in a sense, Sam and Friends Yeah, I misspoke. But anyway, it was a stripe down preview of the Muppet Show from 1976 to 1981. Deliciously attractive, what you pronounce it, pun-filled vaudeville revival that was all three major U.S. television networks has rejected them before Henson. Benefactor 6 Sir Luke Gray, later Roy Gray, but bankrolled its production to London. Wow. In its peak of popularity, The Muppet Show was the world's most successful televised comedy, syndicated in most of the hundreds countries and dubbed in 15 foreign languages, including Mandarin, Portuguese, Polish, and Swedish. Same plans with Muppet shows in convention. 270 prominences, seconds, satirical and stand-ups, parodies, and part-ups. Part fails, Paul's way to pronounce it. Music and mayhem. A live commercial performed by the puppeteers with Raj on the to the broadcast. The show became a nightly showcase for the even intentional dozen or so puppets that popularized Henson original reportedly company characters, what you pronounce it, that were more suggestive than recreational. Kermit, for instance, was largely apprehended, but certainly not the Frog yet in 1955. All the characters in those days was abstract, but it was part of the principle I was working under. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was misspoke. But anyway, one of the things we always try to do with AFR puppets, it was try to get them flexible enough so that you can have as wide a range of emotions as possible. The nice thing about Kermit is there nothing in that hand. The world, the whole shape is Murray, we pronounce it. Just a co-op pattern. And slave, Henson said. The old style puppets seem to me to have a hard wooden quality. A painted expression of the dolls is alright with the audience isn't up close. But on television, it was a very important that you put the life sensitively into the puppet space. I learned the Muppets would have it flexibly. Next page. We're almost done here. We're getting closer. But anyway. Some of Kermit's early cast mates were normally Sam, the nominal star, was fashionable from Ham. From hard, excuse me, I misspoke, but anyway. Smooth materials, including wood. Okay. Other were built from foam, fleet, and flammable remnants. Some have rods attached to their arms and legs, expanded possibles of gensers. Some have extravaganted noses and their banana. Okay, that's fine. And pear shapes. Casters have puffballs, faded at the mid phase. Most of it have wide, flappable mouths, textures, duria, and eyes that seem like white eggs. Okay. With black yolks. Okay, that's totally fine, I guess. With sandwich with oval-shaped eyed, ball curved puppet with a bulbous nose and a thick little lip and ears like fill-in teacup handles straight on, and he had a mouth agape, wide-eyed, cartoon-like look object, we pronounce it, strap faction, but with a tilt of his hand or strong of his shoulders. Hence, it could suggest a line limited, range of other expressions as for Sam. Some people thought that Sam resembles a punch drunker, prize fire, a pug with a bug. That's cool. The character must mention could have its own Ben Oscar Grouch's great grandfather. Look like a birthday balloon wrapped in the stag carpeting with a wide mouth shaped like a wedge of cantaloupe. It's cool. Iggy Grunk, on the other hand, was a striped serpent with fangs that hung like a absorbs from above his lips. Professor Madcliffe had a bullet-shaped head and an extravagantly unruly mustache. It's cool. But Kermit was a sense stealer. Kermit could be subtle, Jane Henson said. Other puppets not so much. And at a certain point, these creatures became known as Muppets. Down through the years, Jane Henson had steadfastly held that the name was deterred as the amalgam of marionette and puppet. The notion was perpetuated in part by Jim Henson himself, for so many years, had used it as an easy answer to explain the name's organization would pronounce it, but anyway. Larry E. devoted that explanation assured them that Muppet was just a word he coined. Henson would never explain the reversal other than to say, we done there very few things connected with marionettes, and yet consciously or unconsciously we pronounce it. For Henson, the Christian, the intentional, the Muppets was to set them apart from other puppets that it asserted a new and distant category and nomenclature, where you pronounce it, culture. I pronounce that word. Excuse me. It was the birth of a brand, and to date, the most important business decision in Henson's life. Just as the Radio City Rockettes were known no more showgirls. So too, when the Muppets became figures, will began controversial expressions. People having my thought of puppets. When I was started out, I didn't know much of puppets, and not having seen that many. I wasn't only influenced by what had become before. Hanson later said, puppetry has been around for thousands of years. It's part of fear, in which small wooden figures serve to represent people in fear. People represent things. With puppets, you can deal with subjects in a way that isn't people possible with people. I think puppetry possible with people. I think puppetry is expressing ourselves with cards. We pronounce it. Sam and Friends was the Muppets. Was the Current Club with the Beals. Okay, the energy was raw. The atmosphere permissive. The breaks of level mode. Murray would pronounce it high. And the cash opportunities wherever one could find them. Okay. In addition to coming up with fresh sketches 5 days a week, Henson also will perform commercials for SK Port Products, Baltimore based sponsor of Sam and Friends. As the popularity of Sam and Friends grew, Jay never went from being just one of the Henson's helpers, painting sets, sewing costumes, and performing secondary characters, to being his most valuable assistant. She occasionally lost track on time. Jim was very capable of doing 5 minutes by himself. Believe me, she said. Perhaps she performed out of character. It was a scene. Watch was curious about the woman puppeteer that heard about on Sam and Friends. She was curiously profiled in the Sunday Washington Post and Times Herald on February 17th, 1957. Jay often turns up in the studio looking fresh for a complex life and bring Randy socks, skirt, and sweater, since to spend most of her time on her knees. She really quite a medical is what we pronounce it. Oh man. She's very quiet. She's really like a, where are we? Macarius dresser and designs and make many of her own clothes. 3 nights a week. Jane studies German as an adult. Wow. Education course. Just because it's free and it's a weekend, she managed to see the man she's dating now for 2 years. A possibly student at American University. Henson took on the multiple roles of career, producer, director, art director, lead performer, Sam and Friends. I dependently defer to Jim always. Jane said, he was a main talent. I was a good assistant. They may be true, but in the Sunday piece that ran in the Washington Post, they may be true, but in the Sunday piece that ran in the Washington Post television, supplied in 1956, Henson described Nabo as a performing partner. Nabo said that Jim was the boss of the team. Henson has countered just a little bit. Produced without benefit of television videotape, I misspoke, but anyway. Or multi-track audio equipment. Sam and Friends, nonetheless, explore the outer limits of television technology in the experiment playful pioneering manner of early callbacks who at the television screen from what Charlie Parker went to the sacks. Hence, it would no need to trade the puppet fear to the studio burr. Till Storm has done with the co-politicians. Doing the world has been superphones, the studio camera viewfinder to find the physical limits of a visual puppet stage. His belief each television set received the single at home, therefore it was his own fear. Instead of performing behind a visual barrier, Henson said. Nebo, on the other hand, got on their knees and monetized the puppets from beneath the eyes of the camera, seeing their performance in real time. The camera is multiple lenses mounted on the rotating turret. Excuse me. While the director to go in right with close up or with a wide angled lens and spread out layers of depth. Excuse me, I misspoke. But anyway. Till Storm and the Bards have more to do with the beginning of the puppets on television that we did. Hence the no 1979 debut. But they had developed their art and style to a certain extent before television. Well, from the beginning, we were watching the television monitor, which is different, very different. Excuse me, I misspoke. From working in the puppet theater, okay. In his view, the studio technicians, audio engineers, and camera operators were the sorcerers. Sorcerers, what do you pronounce it? It was just an eager opponent in his quiet time, spare time, what do you pronounce it? I misspoke. But anyway, he has been in the central room trying to understand what is going on, Jane Henson said. And as the technicians love the teaching them, he really learned his lessons well. He couldn't wait to try out the things he was to learn on Sam and Friends. He would tell the technicians he would like to try this or that, and it would become a team thing. Words should spread word beyond Washington about the Muppets, and on Friday, November 1st, 1957, Jack Parr featured on the Tonight Show. It's doing it so Parr was to see Steve Allen as host. Excuse me. Gave Carmen his first national exposure. Justice Henson had used the Muppets in emulsing spots for XK, we pronounce it, bacon, hams, and franks. So too they began to appear in off-killer ads for Whistler's Coffee, Whistling Rolls. The viewers and commercial comments, the way we pronounce it, this serious, straightforward commercials in the 50s. But Cedric message this that they drove home a point with insistent discriminations. Winston tastes good, like a Richard Sound or both. Wonder Bread helps build strong bodies 12 ways. Henson's establishment coffee ads seem more like entertainment for its own sake. The stars of these ads were Wilkins. Okay. The namesake Muppet who fantasized the brand, and Watkins, a bony-shaped dolt with a downturned mouth. He never drank the stuff. Time after time, Watkins paid dearly for it. Most of the profits are supported by a chance blast. In one Western Beam 8 second spot for instant coffee, Winston wore a cowboy hat and brandished a pistol and said this as follows: "Howdy, stranger! I hear you don't drink Wilson's coffee." "Yeah, so what?" "None of the things you are other strangers in town." Now, for this commercial, I have to take this a clip for what's going to be happening next in Book Reviews episode number 6. So, there you go. Let's just continue read. Anyway. Yeah, we're shooting anything, but let's just continue on. After 3 festival years of the show, Hanson could walking away from the grid. I decided that I really wanted to do was go off and paint, he said. I was an artist, you see, but I was going to take the shows off the air, just quiet for a while. The station prevented upon me, saying, "Look, we'll pay you. You can have someone else perform the show." Okay? And so I bought a friend of mine to work with Jade. The friend was Bob Payne, the puppeteer who worked with Jim, who portrayed Carmen at the time. So, not Stuart Maryland. Wow. I did not know that. But, during a year-long conventional walkabout, Henson took a puppet performance throughout Europe. He returned to Washington impressed at how appreciated the art form was outside the United States. Until then, I hadn't taken puppetry all that seriously. Henson said it was just different. Didn't seem to be the sort of thing a grown man works for his living. Through the years, both Jane and Jim Henson were recording about discouraged details of how they went from being co-workers to a married couple. Wow. Once we asked if it's been love at first sight for Jane, she replied, "No, it was an administration at first sight." Wow. During most of this year's Sim and Friends was on the air, they were not romantically linked. In fact, both had been engaged to others, but well before they announced their intention to marry, they engaged vows in May in 1959. By then, the Hensons were earning a handsome living producing television commercials with the Muppets, a bourgeois business they have started 2 years earlier. In December of 1959, the Christians' Science Monitor's spiritual success eventually has been not spoiled Mr. and Mrs. James Maury Henson. Designers and animators of the television Muppets of Sam and Friends. The article said the success has been swift, but the money is not a topic they care to discuss. Jane Henson said, money cannot measure success or happiness. In 1960, the Puppeteers America annual convention was held in Detroit, Michigan, to which the Hensons drove in the Walls Ranch once with a sunroof. Along for the ride, that was 8 weeks old daughter Lisa. The first of 5 Henson children. The highlight of the trip was a chance to meet Burr Tillstorm, who is a Cuckoo Friend Lolly person. He was a Henson is hit famously. The story goes in the gym asked Tillstorm to drove the roads through the city. Wow. And then with him to pop Kermit up through the roof and say, "Hi ho there." Wow. To the Marcy, amongst those who witnessed the prominent One Cat Parade, was California puppeteers Mike and Francis Oswicks, whose high school age son, Frank Oswicks, was was showing as much appreciation puppetry as Jim Henson does as a year's prior. Henson met Frank at the 1961 Puppeteers Convention in the format, California, near Oakland. In a sense, it was a day that Ernie had met Bert. At the format gathering, Henson approached Whitney Wire performer, Jerry Joel, was offered to replace Jane Henson on Sam and Friends. Jane was pregnant with a second child, daughter Cheryl, and wanted to retire from performing. The idea was, Jim. Joel, who was added to work on the children's show in San Jose, California, knew of the Muppets only by pollination and did not know Henson at all. It was not until Henson opened a black box for the tailgate of his new station wagon that seemed to be like magical presents, like totems, but funnier. He once said, once after the other jam pulled them out of the box, put them out of his hand, brought him to life. Who was the Henson guy? And these were even puppets. Not if I had even seen him or defined them. This guy was like a sailor who had studied in compass and found their like a fifth direction in which one could sail. Which we offered me a brief one in the ship. I signed on. Sam and Friends signed off in the same year, 1961, after winning the local Emmy for Outstanding Television Entertainment. By then, the Muppets were making regular appearances on the Today Show, and business operations have moved on regularly from Washington, New York City, where Henson and Joel work in cramped quarters in the three-room office in East 53rd Street. And the Muppets were now appearing in commercials for a range of consumer goods that include Wilson certified meats, Ivy Snow, Glim toothpaste, the Roll Crown Cola, and pouring dog chow. That's cool enough. He has born the St. Louis-based pet foods giant, feature a flop-eared, Spraggling, when you pronounce it, warranty-wise mutt named Ralph. Voiced by Jim Henson himself, as a kind of guy who would listen to the troubles through the slats and the backyard fence. Ralph was the first Muppet built by the puppet designer Don Saleen. Perhaps more than anyone who would work with the Muppets, Saleen had a canny ability to insult the Henson's wishes. He transferred Henson's rough sketches and visually snapping scribbles into fully relied characters. Beyond that, Sean, we pronounce this word, was even zanier. Celine, yeah, I misspoke, but anyway, was even zanier than the Muppets he worked on. 6 months after Celine's arrival, high school grad Frank Oz joined the Muppets. Before the decade is over, Frank Oz, as it would later be known, Frank Oswick is what he pronounces it. Yeah, he's now known as Frank Oz, but anyway, will become one of the greatest duels in comedy history. The master puppeteer, and most important of all, Bert, Cookie Monster, and Grover. 3 characters in the ages of Sesame Street. In 1965, Henson began filming commercials for LukeJ Domain. Players of Can, ready to eat Americanized Chinese food. For the campaign, Henson designed a lumbering, life-size dragon fully the capital of Covenant. Counted chef's hat that would be he wore as a crown. The toy dragon stood considered comedy taller than the actors hired to play him against him, operating within the dragon. Frank Oz could swagger. Failed his arms, shake his head, craning his neck, and with the assistance of an asylum with a torch, breathe fire, and that'll be it. That's basically it. One particularly boss's commercial featured Cub Scout and his mother at the supermarket. Cool enough. Will you feed 12 hungry Cub Scouts? May I second the suggestion? Who are you? I'm the Toy Dragon. You are a real dragon. What you need is a toy chow mein. It's never mushy. It's crispy crunchy. It is, huh? But toy chow mein is cooked by me in dragon fire. The toy chow mein is crispy. It's good as take-out kind and warmer thing. What's that? Try with toy noodles. Serve it with toy chow mein for a perfect meal in 6 minutes. Buy some today! Now, I'm gonna give out a clip again for this video at the end of the episode. Like, just do the 2 clips for the end of the episode. So there you go. The blonde actress cast as a star shopper was Joan Stone's girlfriend, Burry Owen. Okay, who was a part of the Sesame Street member. But anyway, without knowing it, everyone on the set that day took one step closer to Sesame Street. So that was chapter 6. Let me go ahead and do this right now and get this thing out of the way. So there you go. And, what do I think about Chapter 5? It was amazing. So, the Jim Henson biography, the early days, turned out to be the greatest of all time. Now, to wrap things up, I'll dedicate the whole memory to Carol Spinney, who passed away at the age of 85, and Jim Lehrer, who passed away at the age of 85. Now, for those of you who don't know, Carol Spinney is the Big Bird and Oscar Grouch to me. So, he was my childhood icon, and he passed away, sadly, at the age of 85. He was best known as Big Bird and Oscar Grouch, and he'll be dearly missed by all of us on Sesame Street. Now for Jim Lehrer. Jim Lehrer has died suddenly last birthday at the age of 85, same age as Carol did. He was best known as a news anchorman for PBS NewsHour, formerly known as the Rob McNeil Report, the McNeil-Lehrer Report, the McNeil-Lehrer NewsHour, and the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer. I have seen NewsHour with Jim Lehrer as a kid, and he was dearly missed by all of us. And I never know what to expect. I've seen my childhood icon inspiration, Guiding Light. He'll be dearly missed. Rest in peace to you too. You'll be dearly missed. But anyways, guys, that wraps up book reviews, episode 6. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be chapter 6. I'm not sure it's going to be as of yet, but the next video we're going to see is episode 31 of Recess Jokes. Till next time, LukeJ goodbye, peace out, baby. We got more book reviews on LukeJ62895's edition for you guys very soon. Till then, the Jeff was saying out. See ya.
Howdy, stranger. I hear you don't drink Wilkins coffee.
Yeah, so what?
Now, are there any other strangers in town?
What do you feed 12 hungry Cub Scouts?
May I make a suggestion?
Who are you?
I'm the LaChoy Dragon.
Yeah, a real dragon!
What you need is LaChoy Chow Mein. It's never mushy. It's crisp and crunchy.
It is, huh?
LaChoy Chow Mein is quick cooked by me in dragon fire. Quick cooking makes LaChoy Chow Mein as crisp and good as the takeout kind. And one more thing.
What's that?
Try LaChoy noodles. Serve them with LaChoy Chow Mein for a perfect meal in just 6 minutes. Buy some today!
I will!
And remember, you heard about it from the LaChoy Dragon!
LaChoy Chow Mein is crisp and good as the takeout kind because it's quick cooked in dragon fire.